it I agree with you. It explores some really heavy topics. And I can't wait. I personally can't wait to see all the people start crying. Like, you see, they're pandering. They're pandering.
Right.
Like, bro, they was really talking about this from the jump.
Right.
This is not pandering. I hate when I see that where somebody like they're pandering. Like, why is Blade black? Like, well, he actually was originally black. You know what I'm saying? Like, when these race topics come up, it's gonna be some mad supremacists.
Oh,
We must pay homage to him.
Alright. Well, just to try and say we just did gaming, we could jump into comics then. That's probably the next good segment.
I'll just start with my hype, which is the return of the X-Men, the animated series. One of my favorite shows growing up. Same thing with the Spider-Man show. I did like Batman, the Superman one as well. Like all those four shows, I would say, I'm not a comic book expert, but I would say built my foundation to the MCU and DC universe and exposed me to the characters and villains there, especially X-Men the animated series.
At all. I agree with you. It explores some really heavy topics. And I can't wait. I personally can't wait to see all the people start crying. Like, you see, they're pandering. They're pandering.
Right.
Like, bro, they was really talking about this from the jump.
Right.
This is not pandering. I hate when I see that where somebody like they're pandering. Like, why is Blade black? Like, well, he actually was originally black. You know what I'm saying? Like, when these race topics come up, it's gonna be some mad supremacists.
Oh yeah, and I mean being able to see the thing that I like about the upgrade also is action, and it doesn't seem like American animated series seem to have the same budget restrictions that Japanese animated series do when they come here, because I feel like they pump out a lot of shows. Like I was just watching the trailer for He-Man the other day, the next iteration of that shit, and I was like, oh, they put it in some. I wouldn't say it's super duper high quality, but there's decent action scenes in there that I was kind of surprised about. So it's gonna be cool to see Omega level mutants basically explored in that show. I don't know if Storm's technically Omega level, but being able to see her weather control with modern day technology, I feel like it's gonna be cool. Seeing different action scenes, all of that stuff. I mean, they had interactions with Juggernaut. I'm excited to see the fights and the storylines they choose to explore in that. And obviously now in the comics, I don't know if any of you guys know some of the recent storylines, but I know they just did one where the mutants formed their own country or whatever, and they're doing shit there. So I'm if they do that route, there's just so much shit to do. I'm I hope they just don't fuck it up. That's really my hope. Please don't fuck this up.
No, I got
You're
you.
continuing something that niggas really held dear, I feel and I just hope they can. I don't know how to advise them to capture the right thing, but I hope they capture what they need to capture out of the continuation.
That makes me think, we know that the X-Men are coming into the MCU at some point.
Yeah.
And then, so it makes me wonder, the MCU has always done this thing where they try and, marry science to these comic books and then try and ground that in, the real world. And I think that's why a lot of people appreciate it. Could be wrong. Maybe there's just a science nerd in me. Correct me if I'm not. But I wonder, how deep they'll go. Just like you were saying, how deep will they go in the MCU when they come to this? Because, honestly, I fear less for the comic or the cartoon deviating from this path than I do the live-action version. Because the live-action version going to bring in the billions, right?
Right.
That's their big hitter that they going to try and mold to fit corporate demands. And I wonder, what that's going to look like.
No, that's true. Yeah, and that's the other thing that concerns me, because the MCU universe is still very lighthearted, and I do not feel like the 90s series matched that vibe of
Yeah.
where MCU looks today. And
Niggas
that's
was
why
busting bottles over children heads, bro.
Right. It's somewhere in the middle of like the Netflix shows that we got where they try to be a little bit darker and like the MCU movies. But it's like somewhere in that middle spectrum where I would put like the 90 series, but even a little bit more mature because I still feel like Netflix held back a little bit. But like I said, it wasn't like I watched that show and felt like it was R-rated, but it definitely wasn't just targeted at kids like me, if that makes sense. And I think we all got that from watching it. So it's just like, now that we're adults, please don't try to, like, understand who your target audience is. And it is not the new generation of kids. It's us. It's like the niggas who watched the show before and is watching it now. So let that show continue to grow with us. You can explore mature topics. Like, you can fucking chop Wolverine's head off. Like, nobody's gonna trip off seeing that. Like, you know what I mean? I just hope they allow it to go in that direction now that we're all older. Because back when we were kids, it was there, but, like, we were kids, so we didn't care that much about how gory it got. But now that we're adults, it's like, you can just say it, bro. Like, if niggas are gay, you can just say it. If they're lesbian, you can just say it. If somebody's, like, treating somebody bad because of their race, you could just say it. You don't have to, like, you know, hide it the way they kind of do when it's more geared towards kids.
Right. So, I mean, it's to me, it's pretty much like that they're playing on the nostalgia. Everyone who's pretty much saw the announcement / waiting for it's hyped. They already got the audience pretty much in the bag. It's pretty much now, are they going to lose it or are they going to live up to said hype?
Right.
So it's going to be a wait and see. But again, we hopeful. I'm ready for it.
Please live up to the hype. Because that would be the one thing that gets my Disney Plus open. Because right now it only gets open for like the occasional movie here and there. I need this would be something that I'm like, well, I like. When the TV shows dropped, I was having that open week to week. This to me is going to be what keeps me on Disney Plus.
Oh, true. I mean, with all like the build up of shows and now like the consistent bangers Disney Plus been dropping, I now got to consider a subscription too. Right. I mean, just to straight up catch up, to be real. Yeah. But if they keep it going, that'd be mad legit. So I can actually give worth to all the 20 something subscriptions I already have or whatever. But anyways, hey, we'll see.